What's up, YouTube? It's TJ. It's crazy how, when I really sit back and thank you guys, how every time we tried to make a unification situation for ourselves, they always find a way to dismantle it. Always. There's always some situation that happens or that, that stops it from going, from transpiring. And not only that, but it's crazy how in America we always get taught that these leaders were terrorists or bad news. So when you grew up, you thought you just have this bad misrepresentation of these people, of these figures. And I know no one's perfect, and I don't know everything about this man, but I know the CIA had something to do with this. If y'all don't know, they want Gaddafi. What he really wanted was a unification of Africa, a currency for Africa, for Africans. That's what he stood for. You know who else stood for that? This man, Haile Selassie. Haile Selassie I. Y'all don't know anything about Haile Selassie and his lineage. It's pretty amazing. Started a whole movement, everything. There's certain ties to this, and it's crazy how like these people, these Europeans, how they scrambled up our languages, and that we could never unite, man. There's so many. During the scramble of Africa, they scrambled up Africa. They split it up into a pie. There was a Berlin conference. They talked about how they're going to do this and how they're going to mess up this entire land and stop us from progressing. And they scrambled our languages. There's places in Africa right now that the primary language isn't their language. It's a European language. French, Spanish, English, German, something. Portuguese. They're speaking some other language. Purposefully. They've done this. And they made it harder for us to really unite. There's not a majority of them that still know their language. What they were doing was depopulating Africa. That's what they were doing. They were depopulating so they could control it and change up everything, steal artifacts, change up the entire history to what history they want it to be of you. There were so many movements going on during this time. And now there's a new movement. There's a new guy. There's a new man. We got to protect this man. We got to protect this man. Because this is what we need, man. We need strong leaders. We need a strong community. Shout out to Haiti. They had their New Year's on New Year's Day was their independence. It's like every time, man, we had something going on that was so powerful. And the thing about the story about Haiti and stuff is that they liberated themselves. Us as Black Americans, we had the Civil War, but then we were segregated. And then during segregation and stuff, we wanted civil rights. We wanted integration. You see, that was, in my opinion, a mistake, because then you lose your identity. You're blended in with something that is not yours. The system is not ours. We were never meant to be in this kind of system. That's why we're failing in this system. That's why our kids are subjected to other things that they're not supposed to be subjected to. That's why our men are thinking about things that we're not supposed to be thinking about. And our women are doing things they're not supposed to be doing, because our principles have been mixed up with a Western society, a Western thinking. So once that identity is taken away, they give it back to you. How do they give it back to you, TJ? They give it back to you through music, through culture, and that's how they tell you how you're supposed to live, how you're supposed to act. That's not our culture. What's being preached to us and teach to us. The American Negro, the FBA, we have lost our identity. We have lost our way. Honestly, we have lost our identity. We are so attached to this land that we've forgotten the land that we've came from. A lot of us deny that we've even came from Africa now. How can you deny something and then ask for reparation for something that you said that did not occur? It don't make any sense. It's either you were taken or you weren't taken. That's how detached and how slavery, how bondage we are. Because after those chains were broken, they got you in another way. How they get you in another way? Through the 13th Amendment. What's in the 13th Amendment? It says that you are free until you get incarcerated. And once you're incarcerated, you're no longer free. That's why you take all your rights, your guns, your everything. All your liberty is gone. It doesn't matter. You're not enough. You're not a citizen anymore. They can do with you as they please. You're a slave again. You are free until you get locked up. Read the 13th Amendment and the 14th Amendment. Read those amendments. So, we got to unite as a people, as a culture, as an identity. We have to unite. And stop trying to be, and this is the flaw of the FBA movement, which I'm seeing, is that we are starting to become like the white man. What do you mean by that, TJ? We are starting to feel like we're superior to others. It's crazy, right? It's the same situation that happened in Liberia. What happened in Liberia, TJ? A lot of freed enslaved people that were enslaved in the United States, they went to Liberia. Yeah, they went to Liberia, right? And they started to feel superior to see, it's crazy, right? Liberian War. You guys can research this stuff, bro. You guys can research this stuff, bro. They went there. They went back. They went to back there, and they started to act like the white, pretty much like the Europeans, and they started to treat them like slaves, and it caused so much war. So we got to be careful what how we feel, you know, and we got to understand that our ancestors did not fail us, you guys. This was a invasion of biblical proportions. If you read Deuteronomy tells you what is going to transpire, y'all. It was foretold. And it's just us that got to come back. We got to come back to the Lord. He wants us to come back. A lot of us are starting to awaken. A lot of us are starting to realize who we are, who we truly are. They throw some Easter eggs out there to throw you guys off. Oh, you're Native American. Oh, you're this, you're that. No, we mixed with them boys, bro. We mixed with them boys. Them boys was into sacrificing humans and kids and stuff like that, and drinking the blood and stuff. Those were not our people, bro. The freak y'all talking about, man? They had ritual, like, nah, bro. Those weren't our people. We were connected to the Most High. That is our God. So until we go back to that and start realizing who we are, we'll forever be trapped. We'll forever be trapped. We'll forever be at the bottom. The Lord has told us this. We got to come back to the Lord. And the second Exodus is coming, man. The second Exodus is prophesied. The second Exodus will return. This is how I see it. This is how I view it. The Bible in my terms. There's going to be a second Exodus where all the people that are from the diaspora, us, that have been scattered across the globe, all over the Americas, everywhere, man, we've been scattered. Everywhere we've been scattered. And it's going to be a calling back home. And when we come back home, it's going to be a homecoming for that. And all the nations of the world is not going to like that. Even Russia is not going to like that. None of them's going to like that. And then of course, as prophesied, our Messiah is going to come. But these are my thoughts on just how we need to come together as one. Leave your opinion down below. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.